Today's video is more of like a timestamp. I wanted to show you guys realistically how long it takes me to complete a full order. And so all of the prep work, which is going to the store, baking all of my cakes, and I actually had to make some macarons as well, but also prepping my frosting. It took about 4 hours. And so after that being said, I started at 10 a.m. and this is me crumb coating my cake because I want to do that first. Now we are moving on to the cake pops. All it is you take some cake and you add a tiny bit of buttercream and you mix it until you get the consistency you want. I personally make my cake pops about 2 tablespoons worth. And so you can choose how big or how small you want them, but I just personally love that size. I think they're a big statement, but they're not too crazy big. And so once I roll them out, I put them in the fridge, and this is just me smashing up some Oreos, and I wanted it to be super fine. So this is for my macarons. And so again, I made them the day before and I just kept them in the fridge in an airtight container. And so now I'm ready to fill them. So I filled them. And once I did place them in the fridge so that they could set for later on. And so I went back to my cake pops, and what I did is I just melted a little bit of the white chocolate. And what I personally like to do is dip the stick in and wipe that little top on the once it you push it into your cake pop, because it drives me nuts. I don't know why, I just did. And so once I got all of those sticks in the cake pops, I moved on to my final coat for my cake. And so once I had all of that nice and smooth, I put that back into the fridge, and then I actually moved back to my cake pops. And so what you do is you just melt all of your chocolate, and I personally just like to dip, and I do that little tapping movement because I try to get all the extra chocolate off, and then it also smooths it out as you go. So then I added all the sprinkles and all the fun things. And so once I completed all of those, I went back to my macarons, and because the cake was a sprinkle cake and these were actually cookies and cream macarons, the customer wanted to do a little bit of color. So I just kind of did a variety. I was just kind of filling it out, seeing what I wanted to do. But truly, this is why I like to make extras every single time, because then that way I can choose what I like and pick my favorites. And so I took my scraper and put a little hot water on it so that way all my sprinkles would stick to the top. And then this is the technique that I did for the piping. It is, I believe, called just like the shell piping. And so it's basically just doing that movement. And so I hope that makes sense. But honestly, it is such a simple design. And so I added some macarons on top, and I just chose my favorites and played around to see what I liked. And then it was all done. And so after everything, it was 12:20. So it was about 6 hours and 20 minutes for this order.